I, a 21-year-old female, had a rich grandfather who died recently and I didn't know him very well. He divorced my grandmother when my dad was 13 and barely spoke to him or his siblings for a few years after that. My aunts and uncle never knew why and felt really rejected by my grandfather's lack of interest in seeing them on a regular basis. When my dad was 18, he reached out to my grandfather and reconnected with him. Eventually, my grandfather was able to somewhat mend his relationship with my dad's other siblings, and he even paid for their college. However, my grandfather and grandmother were still pretty bitter towards each other, but never told anyone why or the reason for the divorce. They didn't really stop being openly hostile to each other until my dad died when I was 4. Now that my grandfather's dead, the secret came out when the will was read. Apparently, my grandma had an affair when she was pregnant with my aunt. She didn't know who the father was, but chose my grandfather because he was the most financially stable. My grandfather didn't know for the longest time, until he caught my grandmother in another affair and found an old letter her first lover sent that she kept. He was furious and filed for divorce, and used every legal, although not very ethical trick in the book to hoard as much of the assets and resources as he could. The will stated that before each child could claim their share of the inheritance, they would have to take a DNA test to prove they were his biological child. To any child that refused the test, or they were proven not to be biologically related to my grandfather, then they would just be given $5,000 while the rest would be allocated to the children who were proved to be his biological child. We were all shocked, and Grandma was livid. There were a lot of fights, but in the end everyone wanted to present a united front and just try and find some kind of loophole, claim the money, and then take a DNA test. I never agreed to that and resented being told what to do as a legal adult. I tried to talk to them about it, but they shut me down twice. My uncle's wife even accused me of not really being my dad's kid, so I shouldn't get any money anyway. That pissed me off, so I just took the DNA test out of spite, and I am my grandfather's biological grandchild. So as of right now, I'm getting most of the money. My paternal side was really angry with me. It's now started this domino effect where everyone is starting to fight with everyone. And now that the euphoria of showing up my uncle's wife is wearing off, I'm starting to feel guilty because of how it's affecting my cousins. So am I the a-hole? Edit. Okay, I stepped away for a little bit and I just wanted to clarify some things. A. Already stated this, but my dad died before my grandfather, so his opinion doesn't matter. B. My grandmother, aunts and uncle never liked my mom and were always passive-aggressive towards her. Even after my dad died, they still weren't very nice to her. What my aunt said was the final straw that broke the camel's back. See, I wasn't a part of the decision to not take the DNA test. Everyone else had been having meetings and just told me in a very authoritative way what was going to happen. Like my opinion didn't matter. If they would have asked me to join their choice, I would have done so. If I turn out to be the only one who ends up getting the money, I have no problem setting up a small trust with my cousins at the very least. The only person I would 100% not give a solid dime to is my uncle's wife. Pretty sure that chick is. And I'm biracial. Because someone asked. While I did like my grandfather and care about my cousins, I am much closer to my maternal side than my paternal side. Again, a lot of that has to do with the fact that they didn't like my mom. Edit 2. F. From my understanding, combining the money, properties, and other assets, the appraised value is around $4.2 million. G. Everyone has up to a year to comply with the DNA test. If everyone had refused, assuming there wasn't a loophole to exploit, each person would get just the $5,000 and the rest would have gone to charities that my grandfather felt deserved it. Edit 3. H. The reason why they haven't all taken the test yet was because my grandma doesn't want them to. She denies everything that my grandfather is accusing her of and says that the letter provided is a fake. She's too insulted by the mere accusation and thinks that if her children do it, then they're doubting her integrity while also giving in to my grandpa's manipulation from beyond the grave. Of course, OP is not an idiot. The biggest idiot in this story is grandmother, who had at least 2 affairs. The grandfather paid for all the children's colleges from the marriage. I am also assuming he paid child support, as he never had any of the children tested. At the end of the day, it is his money and he has the right to decide who gets it. He decided that he wanted it to go to a biological family. That is totally his right. I don't even agree about the college fund for the cousins and such, because it's granddad's money and if he wanted, he would have left money for their college. Story 2. My ex, 25 female, and I, 27 male, were together about 6 months, but during that time, we were free to see other people. Things weren't working out, so we broke up. Over a month after that, she finds out she's pregnant and tells me the baby is mine. But I already knew she was seeing other guys, so it is possible the baby isn't. She got mad that I was having doubts, but I said if we got a paternity test and it showed I'm the dad, then yeah, I'll 100% be involved. My ex didn't want that, and she'd rather wait until after the baby is born to get a test done, so I said that's fine, it's her choice. But I won't get myself involved unless I know the baby is mine. Like I already know I could be set up for child support if I start helping out now, and then later it's revealed I'm not the father. I live in the US and have heard this stuff happens a lot. I'd rather not even risk it, you know. She's about 8 months old now. And I have started saving up money, reading up some books, making shopping cart lists of baby clothes and furniture to buy in case I am the father, so it's not like I'm not preparing for this at all. So right now, money is tight with her since I know she's only working part-time. She doesn't have the money for a baby bassinet or clothes because she practically lives paycheck to paycheck. She started asking to let her borrow money for baby stuff, but I told her no. As far as I know, she doesn't have any family she's close to and friends are the same as her with money. But I already said I'll start giving her money and helping out once I know her son is mine. Otherwise, I'd rather not get involved. I've even told her to reach out to the other guys who could also be the dads, but she said one is even more broke, and the other she hasn't even been able to contact. So for right now, it seems like I'm the only one actually able to offer financial support. We have a couple mutual friends, and I'm getting crap from them because they know I have the money to help out. She could be the mom of my kid, so the least I could do is provide. They say they would if they had the money. Since I do have the means and this baby could be mine, I should already be helping. They have a point. The baby could be mine and I'll be happy to help out once I know he is in fact mine. But everyone else is seeing it as I'm being too cold and inconsiderate. I don't think I am, but want to know what others believe. Am I an idiot? I am sure the baby is not OP's. That's why she doesn't want to get the paternity test done. Now she is trying to get some money out of OP. She thinks maybe she'll be lucky. Because if she gets the paternity test done and it comes out that OP is not the father, she knows she 100% will not get a penny from Opus. So yeah, I think she chose the guy who has the most money, OP, and decided that he will be the father. Yeah, but the lie can't last forever. Story 3. Hasn't been that long, but I thought I should update since many of you wanted to know. Following what a few here suggested, I tried talking to my ex again about getting the prenatal paternity test done right now since she kept pressuring me about giving her money. I said, if the situation is that bad, then let's have this test done already, so if the baby is mine, I can start helping out now. Because if we waited until after the birth, she was going to have to wait for my support until the results came in. Plus, if she still refused a paternity test then, it would be more waiting around to get a court-ordered test. Meaning, no help from me at all for a while, even after the baby is already here. So yeah, she agreed to do it in the end. He's not mine. I just got the results the day before yesterday. My ex didn't really have much to say. She only texted, "Fine, then I won't bother you anymore." I told her I was sorry and wished her luck. Also told her about what you guys commented about Facebook posts selling or giving away used baby stuff, plus the WIC program that could help her out since she's low income. But she didn't respond after that and I haven't heard from her since, so I don't know if she'll look into those. Not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed. I know I was having my doubts about this baby being mine and was keeping my distance. But like I said, I was mentally and physically preparing in case he was so that I could be there as a father. Still feel that loss, but at least now I know for sure. Years ago, in my early 20s, I was contacted by my ex from high school telling me I had a daughter, Sarah, who was already 6 at the time. It was a pretty huge shock to me. I was still young and had no idea how to be a father to a young kid. But I met her anyway. I know it was pretty dumb of me to have just taken my ex's word for it, but I genuinely thought Sarah was mine. I met Sarah a couple times a month for 4 months in order to get to know her. I even took her to Disneyland once. My brothers had known about her, but they were surprised when they found out I never asked for a paternity test. It didn't even occur to me until we had that talk. So right away I told my ex I wanted a paternity test, and what do you know? Kid wasn't mine. That's when she confesses she knew who the father was, but he died when Sarah was a few months old, and she just wanted her daughter to have a dad. I stopped having contact right after and told her to find another father figure for her daughter. Through the power of social media, Sarah, now 18, found me and initiated contact. At first, I had no idea who she was until she mentioned my ex's name. As it turned out, my ex never told her the truth, only that I had to go, whatever that means. But Sarah's been trying to find me, I guess, and wanted us to have contact. I didn't want to be the one to tell Sarah, so I said, speak to your mom about why I wasn't around. Ex finally told her, I guess, because Sarah messaged me again, asking if we could meet. She said she knows I'm not her father, but I'm the only one she knows and would still like for us to have something between us. I told her it would be better if we didn't. Yes, I was in her life for a short period, but we are both strangers now. I have my own life with my own family, and she should focus on making her own family with people she cares about. Sarah was clearly not happy with it. She sent me more messages and tried to video call me. I told her we won't be having more contact and blocked her. A few days ago, I found out she contacted my other family on Facebook, my sisters and one of my brothers. They heard her side of this and are saying I'm being too hard on the kid. My sister says she may not be mine, But to her I am still the only father figure she had in her life, so why not continue being that for her? It feels so insane to me. I have a wife and a son. She's not my daughter. It's hard to see how not wanting any more contact between us is something bad. I told my family they are free to take up the mantle if they want, but I won't have anything else to do with her. But their argument is she wants me as a father figure in her life, and that's why I'm being too heartless with her. Am I an idiot? In my opinion, Opus is not an idiot at all. But the mom is a huge one. She says that the real father passed away when the girl was a few months old. So why didn't she tell the daughter the truth? I think she doesn't know who the father is. And I think OP is doing the right thing for her by not continuing the fantasy. I don't see how meeting with her could do her any good and could potentially make things emotionally worse for her. This poor girl needs therapy, not a random man in her life that has no real interest in her. Story 4. My brother and his ex were together for 3 years. They were both unfaithful throughout the relationship. And when they broke up and she got pregnant and told him there's a chance he is or isn't the father, things became even crazier. He had just gotten a major promotion and was going to be making a lot of money. And he felt like she was only keeping the baby to take his money on the off chance the baby is his. When the baby was born, they got a paternity test and he was the father. After that, they got into a huge custody battle. She was unemployed after losing her job and living with her parents, and my brother was way more stable than her. He had money, a job, a house, and a nursery all ready for the baby. He also wanted 100% custody. I asked him why, since he worked so much and didn't seem to want the baby throughout the pregnancy. He said he knows the type of person she is and she thought she would use a baby as a pawn for his money. But our aunt is a family lawyer and helped him hire a top attorney to get full custody. And he got it. When the baby was only 7 months old, he got full custody and never allowed her to see him. She begs and he refuses. He gets happy seeing her so sad. He enrolled his son in daycare every day, 5 days a week, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. as soon as he got custody. He's now 3 and still on this schedule. My mom, or me since getting my license, picks him up from daycare and watches him at my brother's house until he gets off work at 8 or 9-ish. He then lets him use the iPad until he goes to sleep around 10. Then it's the same routine over and over again. He doesn't even spend time with his son. He doesn't even change his diapers. Once my mom changes him before she leaves at 9, he doesn't get another one until he goes to daycare the next morning. The only time he even spends time with him is when he's taking him to daycare in the morning. We watch him on the weekends too, so he can unwind and basically have a bachelor pad. He doesn't even seem to love his son. His teachers, since he was a few months old, are like his mother figure. He calls them mama. He's the first there in the mornings and the last to get picked up. Meanwhile, his mom is begging to see him since she hasn't seen him since COVID began. Yes, I know. And my brother refuses. Whenever my brother complains about being a single dad, I tell him he's not a real single dad since he chose to be the only parent and spent thousands on top lawyers. And also, his son is in daycare literally every day for most of the day and he never sees him. He called me in a hole and said I'm disgusting for saying he's not a real single dad and he works to provide for his son. I think OP's brother is a horrible person. The first thing that came into my mind is he really wanted the son or he just didn't want to have to pay his ex. I'm sure it was more for the money, not for the child. OP's brother is neglecting his son and his developmental needs, and it will play out in some detrimental way in the future. I would report him to CPS. He is severely neglecting this kid, and it is likely the mom will be way better for the boy.